You're clearly a rising star in the Republican firmament. You've got a lot of popularity.
We have a movement that never died from our governor's race. This movement has grown stronger, and people are very supportive. What I see happening is the weaponization of our government. I want to make sure we don't continue to run elections like a banana republic. And this is really, in my opinion, an act of war. What's happening right now is putting every single American at risk. I want my country back. I want my children to live in an America where we have our freedoms and our liberties intact. And we're this close to losing that.
Oh, my goodness. Arizona, I love you. Thank you for being here. Turning point action. Don't you love that word, action? It's so strong. So damn right someone's, I didn't say that. He said it. I'm just repeating what he said. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. I don't know. They made this podium for Charlie Kirk, who's like 6'10". Actually, he's like 6'12". I guess that would make him 7 feet tall. Do you mind if I step away from it? How are you guys doing tonight? Okay. Have you gotten riled up? Okay, so then maybe I can bring us into the realm of let's get encouraged. Because I've been riled up for, I feel like, years now, and I'm ready to remember that we got to keep our heart in this. It's easy to keep our muscle in this, but where's our heart right now? So we're going to talk a little bit about our heart. But I just remembered as I was standing back there, and I'm going to be honest, I get nervous. How many of you get nervous when you have to speak in front of like 5 people? Okay, I'm speaking in front of 15,000. And I always tell my team, I love you too. Whoever said that, I love you 10 times more. I tell my team I get nervous every time because I'm not a public speaker. And they laugh and they go, you speak publicly like all the time? And I go, yeah, but I'm not a public speaker. So I got nervous back there. And as I was getting ready to walk on the stage, I had a flashback to 1 year ago. How many of you were here 1 year ago? Wow. How many of you are new this year? I thought so. I see some new faces who've been, here. I don't recognize you, but I'm so happy you're in this fight with us. There's one right there. Oh, there's that. You're an old face. And I don't mean old. She's like 20. She goes, I'm not old. I mean, you've been around, Heather, for a long time. And I see those faces where you've been in the fight for a long time. I thank you for being in this fight. I know it's not easy. It's a beatdown some days. And so as I was getting ready to walk out, I got the butterflies in my stomach. And then I remembered a year ago when I stood on this stage, and some of you remember, and I said, guess what? We're taking our election case, and we are going to court. You remember that? I was feeling the same way, because we've been done wrong. And we've been in the battle. We have been in the fight. We've stayed in the fight. And because we did that, we've accomplished a lot in the last year. And you might say, wait a minute, Kari, have we really? And yes, we have accomplished a lot. Yes, we have, because we stayed in the fight. We have shown not just Arizona how they are trampling our sacred vote, how they are rigging our elections, how they are sabotaging Election Day. We've shown the whole world how they're doing that. And this is where the battle is, in waking people up into what our elections have become. And so because we've had the will to stay in the fight, we have continued, and our cases are still moving along. And it's funny because everyone involved in our cases, all of our amazing, courageous attorneys, including a Navy SEAL by the name of Kurt Olson, and an Army veteran by the name of Brian Blem, and every single attorney who's had the courage to touch election cases, John Eastman, they're all being persecuted right now. Why is that? Because we have struck a nerve. We have touched the topic we're not supposed to talk about. And we can't walk away from this. We can't walk away from it. And so what's happened in the last year is now we're a year into it, and guess what? Now they're starting to target us. And I'll tell you what, I say to these corrupt individuals, bring it on. Bring it on. Because I'll tell you what, this week I'm being sued by one of our elected officials for defamation because I've had the courage to speak out and talk about these disgusting elections. They're not elections, they're selections. And because I've had the courage to speak out, now they're suing me for defamation. I'll tell you what, anybody they are attacking are the people you want to get behind and support. I will keep fighting, thank you. They're coming after my attorneys just as I'm being sued by one of these corrupt election officials. They're trying to make it so I don't even have an attorney to sit there by my side and help me out. I don't know, maybe I should just represent myself. I mean, at this point, we got your back, she said. At this point, maybe I will have to stand alone in court. But I will not back down from this fight, because if we don't have a voice and a vote, we don't have a country. Do you agree with me on that? I want to send a message to these corrupt individuals in case they haven't figured it out. I'm not going anywhere. You guys are stuck with me, okay? And guess what? We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. They want us all locked up. They want us all penniless, destitute, and they want to go after people like Donald Trump and Kari Lake, and you saw Roger Stone. They're going after Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman. I mean, they're literally, Roseanne Barr. She just wants to tell jokes. They're going after you. None of us are safe. And I want to tell, where's the fake news tonight? Are they here? Did we allow them in? They're back there somewhere. I see the red lights. Now, as Donald Trump always says, the red lights go off when you mention them because they don't want to cover this part. They're also going after you. You just don't know it. Every single one of our cases. Okay, a green light just went on back there. I see a green light back there. Here's what our cases are. One of them is about public records request. We have a right to public records. And the fake news is rooting for the tyrannical government, not us who want public records. We have another case where we're asking for transparent elections, to have elections that aren't sabotaged. And the fake news, the propagandists in the media, have been for the tyrannical government. And now this week, I'll be the defendant in a case where they don't want us to be able to criticize our elected officials. And guess where the fake news is on that? They're with the tyrannical government. We are on the verge, people, of losing our First Amendment right now. And I want to remind the people in the media right now, your existence relies on the First Amendment. Your existence relies on the First Amendment. So I tell you, it's time to go home and do some soul searching. Do you want to be journalists, or do you want to be propagandists? Because we got one choice. If the First Amendment's gone, you don't have a job. Actually, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. So I will say, shame on you. Shame on you to the press that thinks that they're on the right side of history when they're on the wrong side of history. It's time to do some soul searching, because we're this close to losing our country. And they're actually They're actually coming after the journalists. How many of you heard that we actually had a journalist who got locked up because of January 6th, and he wasn't even in Washington, D.C. He did 3 months. Did you all hear about him? This week, they came after another journalist and said, get ready, we're coming after you. They're not going to stop until every single one of us who wants to put our country first is locked up. You know that, I bet you everyone in here, raise your hand if you've ever liked a Donald Trump tweet. Some people are standing up for that. Have you ever retweeted a Donald Trump tweet? Okay. We're on a list, guys. It's almost comical. We're on a list right now. So here's what it's about. It's about silencing us. They want to scare these amazing people. I see Raheem out here. He's always fighting. Thank you, Raheem, for fighting so much. Stand up. This guy actually, you might end up behind bars, Raheem. You might end up behind bars. They might end up putting him behind bars because he's one of the honest guys. And they're coming after each and every one of us because we're speaking the truth. What they're trying to do is scare you, scare us, scare everyone in this amazing arena out of speaking up. Remember, in 2020, how did they do that? How did they keep us silent? They masked us up. They told us we had to be separated 6 feet apart. They told us we couldn't talk. And that's how they stop our movement. That's how they kill our country. And this time around, they can't do that because we're not going to fall for that again. And this time around, what they're going to do is try to scare you from using the most powerful ammunition you have, which is your voice and our First Amendment, and we will not succumb to that pressure. No. So, you know, we should be flattered, actually. I know you're thinking, Kari, okay, what's going on? Did you just have a drink? No, I didn't. I'm actually telling you we should be flattered that they're coming after us because we are so powerful. They want us to think that we are 49-51. It's a tiny minority and a tiny majority. We are a very powerful majority. We are a super majority. The left can't pull a crowd like this if they tried. They can't. Can you even imagine if the left tried to pull together a group? It would look like, well, first of all, it would look like an Antifa riot, for starters. They can't do it because the people aren't with them anymore. The people want our country to be saved. The Democrats are starting to come over. And I'm talking about the old school Democrats, by the way. I think Roger Stone talked about it. They use the word Democrat, but that Democrat party, the old school Democrat that maybe your grandma was a part of, or your mom or your dad, that party's gone. This is just full-on Marxism. And they want to stop us from taking back our country. And so we should be honored. So I know what it's like to be in the fight because I feel like I've been in it nonstop for a long time. And when we concentrate on just the fight, the battle in front of us, it can get heavy and tough. How many of you occasionally wake up at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. and worry? Okay. Everyone. I'm not the only one who wakes up and has to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m. Okay. And you're kind of, then you get back in bed and you start thinking about what's going on in the world. How do we pull this thing back? How do we save our country? How do we protect our children? I have a 19 and 20-year-old. I'm scared to death about their future if we don't win this. But I believe we do win this. I really do. I know we win it. I know we win it. And so what we have to concentrate on, because it gets very heavy sometimes, and I know a lot of people have come on this stage and said, you got to fight. You're going to fight. We're going to win this. And we are. But when you're only concentrating on the fight and the struggle and the battle, it can get very heavy. And so I want to concentrate tonight on what the victory looks like. Right? That's why they want to stop us. Are you kidding me? Hey, they're not trying to arrest Donald Trump because they're worried about us fighting They're worried about what he's going to accomplish with us. That's why they want to arrest him. Why are they trying to knock me down? Why are they trying to knock us down? Because they're worried about what we have in mind, which is putting America first and saving the greatest country on the planet. Right? And these corrupt bastards don't have a place in that country. Because when we put America first and we put solutions first, common sense solutions, the corrupt swamp is not part of that. And they're very, very worried about that. So let's imagine what our country looks like when we do stay in the fight. Let's talk about, imagine the border, which is so out of control right now. It's a couple hours south. I'm sure some of you have been there. It's totally out of control. Can you imagine when the border is secure and the border wall is built all across the southern border, how amazing our country is going to be? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Can you imagine when we fully fund our police, our streets are safe, we can ride our bicycles, send our kids to the park without worrying about crime and being attacked? That's what we're going to do when we put America first. Can you imagine gas at $1.50 or $2 a gallon again? I'm ready for that. When we become energy independent and energy dominant and we're not relying on the Middle East for oil, that's what's going to be possible. It's so amazing. Now, how many of you are, I'm going to be honest, I'm Gen X, okay? I'm not a boomer, I'm Gen X. How many, okay, do we have any Gen X in here? I call us the red pill generation because we lived in such a great era with Ronald Reagan as our president. We saw how amazing America was when we had a patriotic country with a patriotic leader that put our country first. And now we have this amazing generation, Gen Z, they call it. And I love these kids because they inspire me. I go all over the country. And young people come up to me, and it's the greatest feeling ever. They say, you inspire me. Don't stop fighting, Kari. Thank you for fighting for us. See some of them here in the front row. And I always tell them, are you kidding me? I'm a middle-aged mom. I'm not afraid to speak out. I raised toddlers and teenagers. I changed diapers. I dealt with teenagers. I'm not afraid to speak out. You inspire me. The young people in this room who are willing to stand up inspire the heck out of me. You guys are the bravest people on the planet. Let's give them a round of applause. These young people. You guys have to deal with the peer pressure, social media, cancellations. Many of you are in your 20s. That's a lot more daunting than for a 50 plus, I'm not going to go there, 50 plus year old woman. And so you inspire me. You inspire me. But many of you have told me we don't ever see ourselves owning a home, starting a family, because the economy is so bad. Imagine we get back the Trump economy. You are married and you are moving in to your first home and you are living the American dream. That's what America First is about. And we want that for you. Every mother and father in this room, every grandparent yearns for you to have that. We want you to have a better life than we had. We truly do. And with America First policies, you can have that. And we're going to give that. Imagine a world where we're America First, where these peaceful protesters who showed up on January 6th on a cold Washington, D.C. day to peacefully protest a rigged election. Imagine a day where they are freed from prison. And the real culprits who started that riot are locked up behind bars. We can have that. I don't know, maybe Nancy Pelosi was one of them. Let's get to the bottom of that, shall we? Let's get to the bottom of that. Imagine when the only people out of a job, because our economy is so strong, that the only people out of a job are the propagandists and the fake news. We can have that. And I like this one because I'm from a family of 9. I grew up in Iowa, 8 girls and 1 boy. So it's funny, when the media says I'm anti-woman, I go, for starters, I am a woman, and I'm from a family of women, and I have dozens of nieces and nephews, and so I truly appreciate women. But imagine a day when our young girls don't have to compete with a bunch of mentally ill men who like to dress up in makeup and women's clothes. I can't wait for that. And most of all, imagine a day when we root out these corrupt politicians and replace them with citizen politicians in Washington, D.C. who want to do the people's work. That's what I want to do. So I guess what I'm saying is, as we've been, had amazing speeches by some of the great people in our movement, and we're in this fight, and we're going to continue to fight hard. I don't think one person in this room is going to give up. If you are, raise your hand. If you're going to give up, raise your hand. Not one hand just went up. Okay, good. I knew that. No one's going to give up this fight. It's too important. Our founding fathers are counting on us. Our grandfathers, our brothers, our uncles who fought to save this country are counting on us. We did not send them off to war to die in vain so that we could get weak right now. There's no weakness in this room, is there? No. That's right. Who's ready to fight? All right, good. We can have all of those things I just talked about if we stay in the fight. And we're going to do that in this next year. We're going to do that. I love this generation. They came up with some really great terms and words. Most of them I don't understand. But one that I love is FOMO. You know what that is? Okay, my daughter is probably out here like cringing, like, oh, Mom, don't go there. Don't start using like Gen Z terms. But I love the word FOMO. How many of you know what it means? Okay, how many of you are like my age and older and you're not sure what FOMO means? You can raise your hand. It means fear of missing out. It's like when you don't show up, you don't go to the concert because you're tired, you just want to take a bath, and then you see all the pictures on Instagram and you go, why did I miss out? I hate that I missed out on that. I don't want a single person in this room to have FOMO because they didn't have what it took to fight at the most pivotal moment in not just American history, but human history. This moment's big, guys. You all get that. It's a big, big moment that we are facing right now. We got 11 months to save the greatest country on the face of the planet, and we've got to do it. No FOMO for us. And we're so lucky to be here. I think about it all the time. I think about how graced we were that our founding fathers 247 years ago were actually there at that moment. And they were the minority, like 3%. But they were there. The George Washingtons, the Samuel Adams, the John Hancocks. I mean, we could list names forever. Those brave men who were fighting. Jefferson, someone just said, absolutely right. They were there at that moment because God put them there. Do you believe God put us here at this moment? I do. He placed each and every one of us here at this moment. He gave each and every one of us talents and skills to use at this moment. This is the moment that He placed us here for. Not 10 years ago. He strengthened us for this moment. Everything that's happened in our lives, whether you are 15, whether you are 25, whether you are 55, 85, 105, everything God put before you was to prepare you for this moment to save this nation. And I don't want you to have a fear of missing out because you're not in the fight with me. So how many of you are in the fight to save the greatest country on the face of the earth? That's right. That's right. So the question is going to come to you in 50 years, maybe 60 years, when you are sitting there with your great-grandchild. I'm talking to the Gen Z right now, by the way. because some of us won't be around in 50 years. And they look at you and they say, Granny or Grandpa, what did you do? What was your part in saving the greatest country on the planet, the United States of America? What did you do? How were you involved? What did you say? What did you do? And you're going to say to them, I did everything I could. I used my God-given abilities. I stood up. I spoke up. I never sat down. I never shut up. And I wasn't alone. We were in it all together. That's where we are right now. So my message to you, Arizona, is we got to stay strong. We have to stay strong. We have to stay hopeful. We can't forget what we're going to accomplish. And we have to do everything in our power to save the greatest country on the planet, the United States of America. I love you, Turning Point Action. I love you, Arizona. I'm with you. There is no quit in America. God bless you all. I love you guys so much.